So today I'm talking about one of the biggest mistakes I see not only recruits, families, people in life make, and kind of some things that I've done to help with that. And if you don't know who I am, I'm a former college football quarterback. I run your first scholarship, but we help families get their first scholarship and more. And so what I'm talking about is just casting outside blame. I hear it a lot in the recruiting space. Um, Not as much nowadays, luckily, but it still happens. Whether it's the transfer portal, NIL, roster spot situation, coaches just not evaluating correctly. I hear people say all these kinds of things that I don't know, in a way frustrate me because it's like they make these excuses to cast blame to other people, and it just doesn't really make sense to me because I never get the point of that. Like, what do you gain from saying, "Oh, it's the transfer portal while I'm not getting recruited"? Oh, what? Why? NIL is the reason I'm not getting recruited, or the roster spots, or coaches just don't notice me, so that's why I'm not getting recruited. And I guess I imagine most people do it because they want to make an excuse and make themselves feel better about why they're not getting the results that they want to get. But ultimately, like, if you are someone who's blamed something else for why you're not getting what you want in life in general, um, you have to look internally and see, like, okay, is it because of this external thing? If it is that, okay, what can I do about it? Because it doesn't help you to point fingers at something and then just go, okay, well, there's nothing I can do about it, so I'll just sit around. You're not going to get what you want because of that. Instead, you have to look at the situation and go, okay, what can I do despite that to still achieve what I want? Because it's going to be harder, and it was going to be hard anyway, but what can you do to still do that? And so I look at a lot of the recruiting lenses through that. Like, of course, the transfer portal is a piece of it. Of course, the roster spots are a piece of it. But, like, what can we do despite that to still get guys out there and still get guys recruited? And we've done a pretty good job of that. Definitely not perfect, and I don't think we'll ever be perfect, but we're going to keep striving for that. But, for example, like, a lot of people blame the evaluation system that coaches aren't really scouting people and not finding the right people. And I mean, first off, they do a pretty good job for the most part. But it's also like, how, if that's the case, or they do a bad job of recruiting, how can you make it so that it's just so easy for them to evaluate you and to recruit you? And so that way you can slot into their system and be like, you know what, I'm the right guy for you. How can you position yourself as that? And that's a lot of what we do. That's a lot of what I've talked about is like, how can you make it so easy for them to evaluate you and make it an easy yes for them to be like, yes, we need to recruit this kid. Yes, we need to offer this kid. And it's not really like hacks as much as it's like just psychology and literally laws of momentum and the universe of, like, it's just the law of least resistance. How can we make it super easy for coaches to recruit you and offer you versus how other people often do it and make it so hard for coaches to recruit them that they never get seen? Because the hardest way to do it is like make yourself invisible, which a lot of people do by not putting themselves out there. Because if you're not being active on social media, you're basically invisible. Like, no coaches are reading newspaper clippings. They're looking at social media, scrolling through their Twitter feeds, seeing what they find, scrolling through their Twitter DMs, their emails. And if you're not in there, then you are basically invisible. And so how can we make you visible as much as possible in those areas? That's what we do. And so, again, you don't want to cast that outside blame. You want to look internally and see, like, okay, what can I do? And if you are putting yourself out there, awesome. Then the blame is no longer on that. The blame is, okay, why am I not getting the responses? Is it something about something I'm doing there? Is it something about my film? Am I not good enough yet? That could be a piece of it. And so it never helps to look outwards and go, okay, why, like, it can help to look and say, like, why is this happening? But then it should never be, okay, that's the reason why and that's it. It should be, okay, what can I do about that to correct myself to get the results, the goal that I ultimately want? And again, it depends on your goal. If your goal is just to make yourself feel comfortable through life and say, like, you know, nice things to yourself, go do that. But if your goal is to ultimately get a college football scholarship, which mine was, and then you have to find ways to do that and to get that done at all costs. And so hopefully, you're not casting blame to things, and you're you're taking it upon yourself to do the stuff that is required to get a scholarship. I imagine if you're watching this video, you probably are. So kudos to you. And hopefully these videos help. I have a lot of actionable stuff. This one's more of a mindset one. Just kind of doing a little bit of talking about that because I'm big into mindset philosophy because I think a lot of things revolve around that. So hopefully this helped. A little quick one today. But if you got something from this, be sure to like, subscribe. See you in the next one. Peace.